Today, when we look at city streets, at the brightly shining shop windows and tall street lights, it's hard to imagine that once light was a luxury and street lamps were lit by hand from a narrow flame. The flickering flames illuminated only a tiny area around them. Night truly remained night. Such were the times when kerosene lamps gradually gave way to gas lamps and gas lamps to electric ones. Step by step, light reclaimed the city from darkness. Let's walk this path together. The path of Odesa's electrification. How it all began. How the city changed. And how light became a familiar part of our lives. In 1884, at the Odesa exhibition, two foreign companies. For the first time on such a scale, electricity was used to illuminate the grounds and pavilions. A total of 450 incandescent lamps and 26 arc lanterns were installed. The bright, steady light made a strong impression on the townspeople, and the city authorities of Odesa, finally convinced of the convenience and advantages of electric lighting. And then the city authorities wondered, why not build our own power plant? They thought about it for a long time, but eventually decided to go for it. In 1887, the first city power plant was built in Odesa. Let's call it CES-1. It was located on Staroporfankovskaya Street and was built by a Hungarian company. Apparently, they didn't fully trust their builders. From the power plant building to the opera theater, they stretched a 2-wire overhead line, 2.5 kilometers long. In addition to the city's main theater, for an extra fee, about 600 lamps belonging to private subscribers were connected to the power line. The largest consumer turned out to be the Grand Hotel. It was illuminated by as many as 300 electric lamps. At that time, the cost of electricity was 2.2 kopecks per hour for one 16-watt bulb. This Odesa power plant on Staroporfankovskaya Street became the first alternating current power station in the entire Russian Empire. The Odesa electric experiment was so successful that specialists from Moscow, Warsaw, Riga, and St. Petersburg began seeking consultations and project designs. That same year, 1887, electricity was brought to the Odesa port, and the first electric clocks appeared on the city streets. A visible symbol of the dawning new era. Later, a second power plant, CES-2, was built in Odesa, supplying electricity to the central part of the city. Both power stations operated on the so-called Cardiff washed coal, which was delivered by sea from England. This coal was distinguished by its high heat output and was considered the benchmark fuel of its time. However, with the outbreak of the First World War, supplies of English coal ceased. Odesa had to switch to domestic fuel. Donetsk coal was of lower quality, but it was available. Thus, the city entered a new, much harsher electrical era. However, even Donbass coal, which had recently seemed a reliable support for the city's energy sector, was still being delivered to Odesa, less and less frequently and with greater interruptions. Fuel was becoming a strategic resource. Under these circumstances, the Odesa Military-Industrial Committee made a tough but inevitable decision. All coal arriving in the city was to be directed exclusively to the needs of the power plants. And it was at that moment that Odesa faced a problem far more complex than a fuel shortage. The question of the future. How do you turn electricity from a technical marvel into an everyday urban service? How do you measure the invisible energy flowing through the wires? And how do you make it subject to accounting and tariffs? It was necessary to determine the cost of light, the measure of its consumption, and to create a system of control, the very foundation without which the widespread adoption of electricity in Odesa's homes would have been impossible. They found a simple and convenient solution. A new unit of measurement was introduced, which made it possible to calculate electricity, something that could neither be weighed nor seen. This was the kilowatt hour. As early as 1890, the first electric meters appeared in Odesa. They made electricity accounting clear and visual. But almost immediately, prices began to rise as well. The cost of electricity increased nearly 20-fold and reached 40 kopecks per kilowatt hour. Every resident connected to the grid was required to pay regularly for electricity. For this, there was a special account book where meter readings were recorded. Amazingly, it has hardly changed in 100 years. Subscriber books from the late 19th century look almost the same as those used at the end of the 20th century. They decided to set a simple and clear consumption period, 1 month. Electricity fees were collected regularly, based on meter readings, and there was no leniency for non-payers. The electricity supply to the house was simply cut off. Even back then, there was already a distinction between day and night rates. Old electric meters with clock mechanisms allowed residents themselves to set the mode of electricity usage, almost like today. But progress didn't stop there. Vasily Didrikson, a mechanic at the Odesa Telegraph, improved Lodigin's lamp, increasing its lifespan from half an hour to an impressive 400 hours. And Mikhail Dolivo-Dobrovolsky, a graduate of the Odesa Real School, created the three-phase electrical system, the very one. It is still used today and became the foundation of the modern electric motor. Thus, Odesa became one of the pioneers of the electrical age, a city of bold ideas and technological breakthroughs, a true locomotive of electrical progress that pulled along other cities just beginning their journey. But let's figure out together, how much did it actually cost Odessans in those years? This very electric light at the very dawn of urban electrification. Let's turn to the year when the first exact figures appeared. That was the year 1890. At that time, a rate of 40 kopecks per kilowatt hour was considered quite a significant amount. With the average monthly salary of an ordinary city dweller being about 37 rubles, and with food expenses eating up almost half of that income, electricity remained a true, unaffordable luxury. It was far from accessible to everyone. That's how electric light slowly made its way into the life of Odesa. At first, it was a novelty and a symbol of technological progress, and only much later did it become a familiar, almost invisible part of everyday life. Today, the entire life of a modern person is built around electricity. It has become the foundation of our daily routines, our work, and the very rhythm and style of modern life. And with that, we say goodbye to you. We hope we didn't tire you out with this video, and managed to lift your spirits at least a little, knowing that today we don't have to give up half our salary for electricity. Until we meet again, until new discoveries.